Press record, and good morning, everybody. Love having you live in the room, and if you're watching the replay, welcome to the 7 a.m. Sunday Mastermind Club with Pazit and Carolyn. Go ahead, Pazit. Read our law of the day.
Yeah, so let's get started. This law is so much fun. So we started about 3 weeks ago where we're working on the 11 forgotten laws, and these 11 forgotten laws are basically invisible laws. They're always working, whether you're aware of them or not, and this is why it's so important that you know them, because once you're familiar with them, you're able to create your reality as you wish. So I'll just go quickly. The law number one was the law of thinking, and the law of thinking dictates that we only attract what we think. That was the law number one. Law number two was the law of supply, which is that the law of supply depicts that the universe is a source of unlimited supply. So abundance is everywhere. There's always plenty. There is no such thing as lack. Lack is something that you learned, and it can be unlearned. And today, it is the law of attraction, which is this third invisible law. And the law of attraction essentially is about what we focus. About what we focus, we will attract. Everything we experience in our life is dictated by our own mindset. If you're a positive thinker, the universe will respond in harmony with you, and you will get what you desire. So it is important just to focus on thinking about what you want and get emotionally involved to attract it in your life. So the most important thing to understand here is that the law of vibration comes before the law of attraction. And the law of vibration is basically the emotional part. It's how you feel. And how you feel is what you attract. So if you're feeling good, you're going to attract more good things. If you're feeling bad, you're going to attract things that make you feel bad. So if we take it back to abundance, of course this works for anything, relationships, but for this purpose, we're going to use abundance. So if you're thinking of abundance, but you keep looking, at bills, at, all of a sudden there's like an unexpected repair in the house. You've got to fix the roof, or there's a dent, you get into an accident, there's a dent in the car. Right away, observe how you feel, okay? Because right away your feeling will go from feeling high to feeling low in a snap. Okay, so you want to be able, so now what is happening is that vibration is now controlling you. And then you wonder why, people have this saying, oh, when it rains, it pours. Fuck yeah, when it rains, it pours. Because when it rains, we're in a vibration of, we're in a negative vibration. So it pours more negative things, and all this we have created. So the same way that we can create it rains and pours for the bad, why don't we create it rains and pours for the good, So if you align yourself, you see these things, but you still keep your vibration of, feeling happy, feeling good, feeling joyous, feeling abundant. And when these things come, you're like, yeah, I can afford that. That's fine. This is good. Always bring yourself back to feeling good, whether it's a happy dance, a video that you go to, you get your kids, you play with your dog. You go right away to those things that they trigger you to feel good. And then let it rain, be a rainmaker, but a rainmaker of good stuff. So Carolyn's gonna take it from here, and she's gonna read some different excerpts from the law. And we're also gonna share a story with all of you so you can relate the story, and then we'll break down the story on how the pieces come together so you're able to create it for yourself. So Carolyn?
The law of attraction, everybody has heard of since Rhonda Byrne created The Secret. That's kind of what made the law of attraction more widely known, as if it was something new, which it is not. The only thing that film, and it's a wonderful film, and so many of our mentors that we love are, had an opportunity to share in that film, and the story of how that film came to be is also a wonderful story about the law of attraction. But what they don't really focus on in that film is the actual law that governs the law of attraction, which is the law of vibration. The law of vibration, if you can want to attract everything that you want to your world as much as you do, but if you are not in vibrational alignment with it, it will elude you. Why? Because you must be a match. And we've talked about this on some of our classes in the morning. You have to be a vibrational match. So what happens is you imagine it But if you're always in a state of lack when you're looking for some sort of wealth, then you're not in alignment with it. So that means that the application of the law is not in harmony. So what I'm going to read to you is just about that, about the application of the law from Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. So he says,
Carolyn, just one second. Just one second. I just thought of something. Yeah. What Carolyn just said, I want you to think of it like you're driving in your car. Okay. When you're bouncing between vibrations, it's like you keep changing direction with your car. So you're not really going anywhere. You're going right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. You're really not going anywhere. So
yeah, this you don't have your GPS any time to really figure out where you are. So you keep going off-road, on-road, back, forth. So nothing can happen when you're in a state of that kind of chaos. So if your thoughts are all over the place and you're feeling, because feeling is really the secret of all of it. Okay, being in alignment with higher vibrating emotions of joy and happiness and contentment and abundance, those are the feelings we want to always be mindful of. That's where we want to live, in those places. Yes, things are going to come in that aren't in alignment with those feelings, but our work isn't to go down into the pit of the feelings that are of lack. Our work is to not allow those circumstances to affect our mental state. So we have to stay calm. We have to observe. We have to respond and not react, so that we are not changed. Our emotional vibration is not changed, because every time it does, it slows down what we want. Pazit and I love the whole analogy of an acorn, right? Why don't you share that first before I read that? Because I love it. I think of us as acorns.
Yeah, so everybody knows that basically, like, if you plant an acorn, okay, in a soil, right, in the right soil, the acorn doesn't have to move, doesn't have to go anywhere, doesn't have to go to work. The acorn that is planted in the right soil will attract all the nutrients, all the minerals, the water, the sun, everything that it needs to grow into an oak tree. So we were speaking with Carolyn yesterday, and basically the analogy came very much like this. Your thoughts is the acorn, okay? The soil is your mind. You have to remember, your mind is your workshop. I'm going to say it 1,000,000 times. Your mind is your workshop. The acorn is the idea. Now, if you plant the idea in your mind, which is the soil always has to be good. The nutrients and everything that it attracts is all the circumstances, the people. You don't really have to do anything. You just have to make sure that it's planted in the right soil. So your work in your workshop is to make sure that it's always feeling good, it's joyous, it's on abundance. And now that acorn, that idea can grow. That's the tree that grows. When they make the analogy of the seed, when you put a seed in the earth, the seed doesn't have to go to work. It just stays there. It stays there. And by law, it attracts to itself everything, all the components that it needs to become the tree. And this is exactly the creative process, and how you make your idea go from invisible, right, the seed, to the visible on the outside, the tree that everybody sees. When the seed is under the ground, nobody sees it. But then when it sprouts out and it's out of the ground, the tree, everybody sees it. So go ahead, Carolyn.
Right, so applying the law, Raymond Hollywell says, application is the test of adequacy, as knowledge is of little or no value unless it can be put to practical ends. We often know these principles. We understand them at a practical level. We hear them, we read them, we understand them, but we actually don't apply them, right? Or we're actually applying them all the time, but against ourselves. So we're keeping our mindset in places that don't serve us attracting what we want. Here's a simple method in the beginning for using the power of the mind to increase the amount of good in our lives in conformity with the law. Form a clear and well-defined mental picture of what you want. Don't specify its particular form or how it shall come, but simply desire firmly and gently the greatest amount of good in that direction. Avoid a tensed state of mind or any condition of strain or anxiety. It is better to do your mind picturing in odd moments when in quiet and restful, like calmness of the mind. Let the idea or plan of good unfold into a vivid mental picture, much the same as though it were a moving picture upon a screen. Do not force the thought, as pressure causes congestion and confusion. The calmer and more peaceful you are, the better the result. The main thing is to hold the thought, then proceed to nourish your desire, acorn in soil, or want with a calm, confident conviction that what you seek will come. As you persist in this state of mind, the good desired will tend to gravitate toward you. It may come almost at once, as in respect to little things of less consequence, like an invitation, a book, a meeting a friend on the street, or it may come by degrees over a period of time, according to the clearness and strength of your demand and the particular form of the good desired. In the meantime, be reasonable and practical and do what you can to promote its coming. That means keeping the soil well watered, keeping your mind workshop clear of all congestion and confusion and anxiety. And so when those feelings come up, you can recognize them, you can observe them, but you don't want to give your power to them. Because the moment you do that, you exchange all the good that is ready for you because you're now not in vibrational alignment with it. Okay? So, Pazit, do you want to say anything? And I'll just share a story.
I have something to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, going back. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm new to the group. I'm a long-term associate with Carolyn's. And I work in Europe in marketing. So what you were talking about is actually one of the foundations of marketing when we're trying to change consumer behavior. 3 levels: do, feel, think, right? 80% of decisions that are correct for us are made at the feeling level. They're not made at the thinking level, which is your talk about forcing a thought because someone told you you should do something. If you don't get it to the feeling level, most of your neural circuits can't absorb it, can't react in it, can't be instinctive, it can't be natural, and therefore the doing never comes. It sticks here, sticks at the thinking level. So it's very much what you're talking is, it's in very simple terms, it's about getting it to be a deep and highly believable thought means feeling it in your essence. You have to feel it before you can do it. To sustain the doing.
Yeah. You have to be emotionally involved with the outcome. You have to feel it before it's here. Okay? Yeah. It's not about talking about something that's going to happen to you down the road in the future one day. The whole essence of practicing it in your mind, the vision, okay, is feeling as if it's here now. And that's how you connect those dots. Okay.
Exactly.
In the application of it, most people leave that part out. They always think about it as one day I'm going to live in that house. And they imagine themselves one day living in the house. And the key to that is to imagine it, but rehearse it as if you're doing it now. You're walking through the house. You feel what it feels like. You look at the fabric on the furniture. You smell what it smells like when you've just had a beautiful meal with your family. I mean, all those feelings and emotions have to be injected in this vision of yours, and that's how it works. And you're absolutely right. That's what you do as a marketing executive, is to create that for them to feel, right?
Yeah, not rational, it's a feeling.
Yeah. Totally. Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead, Carolyn. I think that it would be great at time-wise if you want to just start with your story. We'll give you a story and then we'll break down Carolyn's story on how the process works. So at least you'll always have something to think about. So I think let's just dive into it.
Well, my story goes back to, and I kind of not thought about this until Pazit and I kind of did a couple of our masterminds this week. Back in 2007, I was dating the man who became my husband, and we had gone away for a weekend. And we were dating, and he had 2 kids and I had 3 kids. I mean, this is, it's like 12 years ago now. And we went away for the weekend with our kids one weekend, and the following weekend we went away, just the 2 of us. And we were in the throes of what if, like if we were to live together, for example, what would be your ideal version of a house? And now we had, 5 kids. So it had to be a house that had plenty of room for all. So we spent a weekend talking. We had not planned to live together. We hadn't made any of those plans yet. But we were just talking, and we were both spending all this energy feeling what it would be like to be in this house, all of our kids under one roof, coming and going. And they were younger then, so most of them they were under one roof back then. And we imagined this house. Okay, we hadn't seen a house, we hadn't talked about a house, but we started imagining this house. So when people asked us later, how did you find this house? We used to always say, we didn't. The house found us. And it's exactly how it happened. When I think of it now, it's exactly the process of creation. So here we were giving energy to our thoughts and our feelings of what it was like in this house. Well, what did this house have to have? Well, it had to have 5 bedrooms or 6 bedrooms. It had to have a tin roof, because we talk so much about how fantastic it feels to hear the rain on the tin roof. And he loved the country and I loved the country. And it had to have like a wraparound porch, and it had to be on the water, and it had to have property, and it had to have a big country kitchen, and it had to have place for dogs. We didn't have any dogs at that time, but it had to have place for dogs to run. And we imagined this whole entire house. And by the time the weekend was over, I mean, we had pictured ourselves living in this house. So he drops me off at home.
Hold on. So the first step, hold on, let me just break it down. Okay. So the first step is they had this idea. This idea came into their mind. So the idea was the house. Okay. They emotionalized with it and they pictured it. So the idea, the picture, how do you want the house, the porch, the dogs, the 5 bedrooms, so on and so forth. And then as they're talking about it together, you can imagine how excited they must have felt together, the emotion that goes into it when you're like, oh my God, and we want the porch and we want this and we want that. So they were having fun. And so those are the first 3 steps. Idea, picture what you want, and emotionalize with it.
Feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it. That's one of the parts of the application of the law that people leave out. That's one of the things where they say it's not working for me, because that's the part you have to spend a lot of time repeating.
Right.
So I go home and here's a guy that really, like, that would have ended and been done, but somewhere in the next 24 hours, he got this idea to look up just a house in the country, in the area we talked about, with 5+ bedrooms on the water. Now, I mean, right, we imagined it, but who would think there was one just like it? Well, of course there was one just like it. So he looks up, and he's not the type of guy to look anything up. On Monday, I get an email from him from work with one link to a house. And he says, check out this house. So he gets an idea to look it up, and he could have just said, yeah, whatever, and continued upon his day. But he took action on the idea, and he looked up his thought and came up with one house. Sends me the link. I open the link, and it looks like this little country house. And I'm looking at the MLS, and I'm going, there can't be. Like, it says there's 6 bedrooms in this house. Like, it can't be. It looks so small. And I could have said, listen, we must get something that looks too small for us. Let's keep moving. But I didn't. So I said, I'm going to call my agent and let's go see it. I mean, it's the only one that showed up. Let's just go see it. So when the agent took us to see this house, when you pulled in the driveway, it was 4 times the size of that picture that was in the MLS. It was a 4,500 square foot house with 6 bedrooms on the river, tin roof, wraparound porch, screen porch, property, country kitchen, everything. We walk into this house, and it's owned by an antique dealer who had completely, and we're about antiques, and I have an antique piano, and there was a place for the piano, and all of our kids around this island. And we walked into the house and we felt like we already owned it. We felt like we belonged in the house, so much so that the elderly couple who owned this massive house said to us, this house is meant for you. You have all these kids. This is not for us. We want to move on to a smaller little house. This house is meant for you. And we decided to put an offer on this house, but a stupid offer. Like, we weren't even planning to move in together, but the house was so exactly what we imagined. We knew it was the right house, that we put on a crazy offer, and the couple said, we're going to take your offer because you belong here. So we bought a house that we didn't really look for, that we imagined, that found us.
Right, and all this happened in 3 days, and so this is what is so amazing. So to keep breaking this down is, once the house, the acorn, right, the seed, was put into the soil, and the soil was very fertile. The soil was fertile. All this happened within 3 days, from picturing it in the mind, the invisible, to the visible. Every single detail, from the tin roof, the wraparound balcony. Not only did they get 5 rooms, the universe threw in an extra one. Here's a 6th one, sweetheart, you know, and delivered the house to them. Her partner her partner at the time had decided that, you know, he got another idea, because they were so into it. He got an idea and he followed the hunch. So it's a little bit like when you're going on a treasure hunt. He followed the hunch to, you know, start looking for houses. So he followed that hunch, sent an email to Carolyn. Carolyn said, okay, what the hell, let's go see it, you know, followed that hunch. And then when she got there, it was even bigger than the picture, you know? So sometimes I always say, never go by what you see, because you never know what's hiding, but just realize that everything is aligned, meaning that the house was in the country, that it had the acreage, everything was pretty set up for the way that they had pictured it. So usually when everything is aligned and the emotions are there, everything is lined up, it happens really, really fast. I'm working with clients. We're creating things within weeks now. We used to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. We're creating things within weeks now, because it's really down to, it's a process, and it works all the time. And all that's important is really how much you emotionalize with it and how aligned you are. And for the people that are not creating as fast as, you know, as this, is only because they're torn between, they're still going in many directions. That's the only reason. But once the directions come all together, all the forces go, and you're going one way and you're going fast. Speed is nothing for the universe. It knows no time. Time is only for us.
And it's already here. I mean, you're focusing on something that's already here. And we talked about this, you know, in every lesson of the law. It's always about focus. You have to, you know, learn the fine art of focusing, and it's not something that comes naturally to us, because our mind wanders. That's what happens when people say, oh, I don't meditate because you know, I can't meditate. You actually can meditate. Meditating is just going into the quiet. But the part that people kind of give up on too soon is the fact that you need to practice the art of focusing your attention on one thing. So the first time you sit down to do it, your mind's going to wander in half a millisecond, and then you want to bring it back. That's why they say focus on the breath, or focus on a candle flame, because you want to keep bringing your focus back, keep bringing your focus back. After you do that for a while, you become more proficient at it. You're practicing it. And when you learn how to focus on a candle flame or on your breath, you can focus on anything. So if you have an image of a house or a business or whatever it is that you desire, you can now practice focusing on it with a lot more intention and emotion, and that brings it much faster. I'm just going to read quickly that little story, Pazit, from How to Attract Money by Joseph Murray.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I was going to say is, I know that, you know, before we did visualizing in the mind, But today you can actually use pictures, real pictures. You go online, you look for anything that you want, you know, whether it's wealth, whether it's a house, whether it's a car. You can look at pictures every day. There's so many videos of like, you know, the same car driving. You just got to be immersed in it until like you know, you can also do it by the reality, by the physical reality of photos. Today we have different tools. Back then they didn't have all these tools. Today we have these tools. And so pictures have, and I will keep saying it, that pictures are a very big component of it. The thinking is the seed, but we think in pictures. So give your mind a picture, because picture brings your mind to order. It brings your mind to order. So you want to keep everything in order in your mind. So
and
go
make
ahead.
a decision on what that thing is that you want. That's why, you know, back it up into goal achieving, goal creation. You want to make a decision and say, what do I want? What is my heart desire? Like, what is really pulling me? And you could have 4 or 5 things written down, and I encourage you to write things down like a shopping list all the time. Write things down, write things down. But really, when you start focusing in, there's going to be one thing that really pulls you, what's really calling you. Start focusing your attention. Everything we focus on expands. Either way, whether it's wanted or unwanted. So, you know, you have to really be careful about your mind and what you're thinking. So if you focus your attention and then get emotionally involved with the outcome of it, you're now practicing the fine art of creation. You're in deliberate creation mode. Okay.
Yeah, and the soil that you must keep must always be enjoy, pleasure, and satisfaction. So that's the soil. So you always have to keep your soil, which is your mind. Keep it happy.
Think of nurturing soil and sun and love and appreciation and gratitude and joy, all those really good feelings. I mean, let's face it, that's where we want to be living. That's our God-given place of life. That's where we feel good all the time. You know, when you go to bed at night and all's well with the world, those are the feelings that you have. You feel good. You always know where you are and what results you're going to attract by the way you feel.
That's it. And you have to remember that most of us were also trained to look at the outside circumstances to determine how we feel, right? We're going to look at what's happening. Oh, you know, the relationship is broken. I don't feel good. The relationship is good. I feel good. So we're looking at the circumstances. I have money in the account. I feel great and powerful. I don't have money in the account. I feel like, you know, I feel broke. I feel broken, you know? So you have to remember that when you're working with the invisible laws, you're not at the mercy of your circumstances. You do not give power to your circumstances. This is one of the most important keys in being a creator, is that you give power to what you want, not to the circumstances. I'm not saying to not look at the circumstances. Is that you can glance at them, and the circumstances are only so you can glance at and see what you're thinking. Okay, they're just to glance at. They're not made for you to stay there. So, you know, you go back to your workshop and you're like, okay, I think I need to put more time focusing on this because I could see that I'm getting an opposite result, so I must be focusing on the other side. So I got to tip my balance again. So don't use it to create your emotions. Just use it to see where you're at.
That's it. Just you glance at it. It's just like it's like a contrast. So it's like you're driving down a highway and these circumstances show up. It's like, oh, I'm off-roading right now. I need to get back on the road.
That's right. So go ahead, Carolyn. Let's read the
thing. So this is just a quick story. This is also, I mean, I love these little books that were written, like, you know, at the beginning of the century, and they're all magical. This one is Dr. Joseph Murray's How to Attract Money. Also, it's like an exceptional book, but just a little example of his deliberate creation at one point in time. He said, a few months ago, I went to sleep. Best time to really focus your attention on what you want is before you go to sleep, because that's when your subconscious mind is wide open. I imagined I was reading one of my most popular books, Magic of Faith. That's one of his books in French. He said, I began to realize and imagine this book going into all French-speaking nations. For several weeks, I did this every night, falling asleep with this imaginary French edition of my book, Magic of Faith, in my hands. Just before Christmas in 1954, I received a letter from a leading publisher in Paris enclosing a contract drawn up asking me to sign it and give him permission to publish and promote abroad to all French-speaking countries. And the French edition of The Magic of Faith came into life. You might ask me, what did I do about the publishing of the book after I kept thinking about it and thinking about it, like, what action did I take? And he said, I would have to say nothing. The subjective wisdom took over, brought it to pass in its own way, which was a far better way than any method I could have consciously desired. So we were talking about the acorn. It doesn't move. It just feels good in that great nurturing soil, and then all the nutrients come to it. So people say, I have to work so hard to get what I want. You actually don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You just have to do your work in your workshop of the mind, and to constantly put yourself in the good feeling thoughts. And if you're not feeling good, go reach for a better feeling thought. Listen to music. Do something that's going to bring you back up to the level.
Shake that ass.
And the vibration.
Shake
To
that ass.
attract to you. That's the key of the law of attraction, really. It's vibrating in the right frequency to attract what you want. Okay, so I hope that serves you guys. I hope there's some understanding, a little bit of clarity, because the law of attraction can sometimes be like, sometimes I feel like there's an ingredient missing in the recipe. So now you have all the ingredients of the recipe, I think.
Absolutely. So I think, Carolyn, what we're going to do now, so this is pretty much the law of attraction. So you have to remember, so if we do a quick recap, because we want to open up the tables, what we want to do is we want to ask each one of you what you understood from the lesson, because if there's one thing that you must get from every lesson or law that we are masterminding with you with, is the understanding of it. So you just have to remember that everything, the workshop is your mind, that's the soil. The acorn, which is the seed is the idea. Your mind is the soil. And your job is really to keep the soil clean from weeds. Weeds are what? Negative thoughts. Always be in a state of happiness and joy, no matter what happens, no matter what the circumstances. And once you master that, you will attract to you all the circumstances. I do it all the time. Carolyn is doing it all the time now. And it's just, people call you instead of us calling people. I just work with my mind, and then I have the right people who call me, who are exactly the way I picture it to be. Exactly. I order it. It comes to me by action. Of course, I have to answer the email. I have to answer the call. That's the action that I do, and then we put it into movement. But the action is, I don't actually go out and get it. I just work with my mind. I get it. And then I just continue I just like take it in. That's it. And then the work starts.
And there's always a sense of awe, right? I mean, it's like when I walked into that house, and I mean, wow, like this is exactly matching my picture. There's when you've nailed it, when you've attracted exactly what it is you pictured, you have that sense of wonder and awe. And people often say, because they don't know what else to say, they'll say, what a coincidence. Like, what
I can't believe
chances that this could have happened? What a coincidence. And I always laugh, because I just say there's just no such thing, right? People don't understand.
Or you're not going to believe it.
It's the law working, not some word called coincidence.
Absolutely. And it always starts where you're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe this. I think I call Carolyn like almost every time, like, you're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It's
you're not going to believe it, because
say.
it is really magical. It is really magical. And when you get really good at it, and of course, what does it take? It takes practice. It takes practice. You're not going to get good at anything if you don't practice it. An athlete does not become a super athlete overnight. He becomes an athlete because he practices more than anyone else. A great doctor practices more than anyone else. An amazing businessman or businesswoman becomes amazing at it because she practices more than anyone else. So you want to master being a creator, you practice more than anyone else. But the reward is that you will live your life above everyone else, because you will have the shortcut to getting anything you want in life. And you get to take your power back. That's our power. We keep giving our power to circumstances. That's why we're circulating in a loop. We feel good. Oh, something bad happens. We're back to square one. We feel good. Something bad happens. We're back to square one. So we keep going back to square one. And what do we say? It's not meant for me. This is bullshit. This doesn't work. Forget this. I'll try this. I'll try that. And then you're like all over the place, and you got nothing. You got nothing but a mess, chaos. A seed cannot grow in chaos, cannot. A seed needs to grow. It's very simple. A seed, put it in the soil and it attracts to itself everything that it needs. It attracts. The rain comes. It doesn't go looking for water. It doesn't go to the river. Hey, give me some water. No, it rains on it. The sun shines on it. Same thing for you guys. And then when it comes, just recognize it. Because when it comes, you got to snap it. You'll be like, okay, you know.
And it comes sometimes in ways, in packages that you didn't expect.
You'll never imagine. Yeah.
Like, you know, you may imagine it showing up in a certain way, but then it comes via another delivery system. Doesn't matter. You don't need to know how.
It's always unexpected.
Focus on what you want. The how will find you. It will take care of itself. It's the universal wisdom that kicks in and says, okay, now we know what you want. You've been really clear with us. You've been really feeling it. We know what it is now. You may not expect it the way we're going to deliver it to you, but nevertheless, you're going to get exactly what you wanted.
Yeah. It always comes unexpected. If you expect it, it's because you controlled it. You controlled the circumstances. When it's unexpected, you know that you created it. That's the difference.
So Pazit, do we want to open it up? I'm just going to go into the
100%.
chat.
Yeah, let's open up the table. And the question is, we're going to go one by one, whether you come in or not. We're going to bring you in. We want to understand what you understood from the lesson today. So,
well,
if somebody wants to go first.
I'm going to ask Gabriella first because she has a comment here in the chat. Gabriella says, 2 things happened to me this week from a thought and 1 came from a picture. You want to share with us, Gabriella? I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Good morning.
Everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so what I'm picking up from this call, also from last week's call, is it's starting to sink in. And like you said, Pazit, it's really about practicing and being mindful of what we're thinking. Carolyn, you had posted something at some point about thoughts and whatever. I printed it. I put it in my bedroom mirror so I can see it every morning. It's like I'm finally getting it. I mean, it's better late than never, but doesn't matter. I'm just very happy at the fact that every little seed is finally starting to like sink in. And
that takes practice too, Gabriella. We're in the study. We study this stuff every single day to keep it fresh, to keep reminding ourselves what this process is. So, you know, it's like you got it, but you know, you keep reminding yourself how this works.
Well, the thing is that there's always something that happens. It's just we're not always mindful of the fact that if we've created it or not. So being able to understand whether it's good or bad and how you've created it is already a huge step in my like how I see that. So yeah, I had looked at my list of things that I want and things that were making me, you know, want to create that. And one was a picture of a really great loving relationship. And every day this week, I've had my husband profess his love to me. It's just been like, not because he didn't do it before. It's just that, you know. Anyhow, and then, you know, there was this other thing that I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to take a Reiki class for a while, and I've been trying to find a place that would be able to teach it in English on the South Shore, a weekend that I can do it because I'm so busy. Sorry about that. And I went to a meeting on Tuesday evening with a friend, and lo and behold, I started talking to this woman on my right-hand side, and she's a Reiki master. She's on the South Shore. She teaches in English, and she's available a weekend that I'm not, that I am. So I don't know. It's just like, okay.
So you created it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your mind.
Yeah. So it's so cool when you really are the master of what you think and create. And again, you know, like even there was a moment of when I did look at my bank account this week, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And then I got this email saying from a network company that I used to be part of that something was deposited in my account. And I'm like, nah. I went to go and check it out and it wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, why are they sending me this email? I went to the link and the funds had just been accumulating in their bank account I just needed it to transfer it into my bank account. I was like, a windfall I was not expecting. So it was,
Bam.
damn, yeah. So
That's
That's
amazing.
That's how it works. Good for
That's
you.
how it
That's a
works.
great week.
yeah, it was a fantastic week.
Fantastic.
Are you going to
And
keep creating?
Absolutely.
Good. Good. That's it. That's what you have to remember. Your mind is your workshop. Never doubt it. And the more you do it, the stronger you'll get at it, and the stronger your muscle will be. And that's it. Then
Yeah.
you pass it on.
Yeah.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Thank
It's
you,
so good.
Gabrielle.
It's so
For sharing
good.
that. Fantastic. Okay.
Share it in a testimony.
Okay. Who's next? Who wants to share? And what did you learn today? Val? I see you sitting there. Valerie's sitting there. She's going, I'm thinking.
You're always picking on. No, I'm fine.
And we're picking on everybody, Val.
No, that's okay. The lesson, I got it. Down. It's funny because yesterday a friend of mine called me. She was so upset. She was recently promoted in her job, so now she's making more money, and she was like so happy and really happy about it and everything. And then there was some sort of, I don't know, somehow her account got compromised or hacked or something. I don't know. Anyway, some kind of debt company took a bunch of money out of her account, and she was notified by her bank, and she was really upset. And she's like, I don't really get this. Like, is the universe telling me that I'm not allowed to have money? Because I was strapped all that time, and then I finally get money, and now it's being taken away. And she's like getting all worked up. And I said, whoa, stop. Okay. I said, the universe wants you to have money. What happened is because of the age in which we're living, this happened because you used your card in a dodgy card reader, or somebody's database got hacked, like, because that's just part of the world in which we live. The universe wants you to be abundant. The universe wants you to have abundance. The universe is not punishing you. That's not how it works. It's like there's the universe, and then there's everything else. Like there's just what's part of being alive at this time, and what other people do. And she was like, oh, okay. I said, so you're going to go to your bank on Monday, and it's all going to get sorted out, and everything's going to be fine. This stuff happens all the time, and your bank is going to take care of you, and this is not the universe shitting on you. Like, It's just not. You're not being punished for something. The universe is not punitive.
It's
No, it's
interesting.
not. We are.
Exactly. And what we do is we recognize the limiting beliefs of ourselves and and you can hear her limiting belief by the way she's expressing it. So somewhere along the way, her belief became that, God is a punishing God. I don't deserve, I shouldn't have. All of those things are playing in her subconscious mind, which is what's bringing to her the circumstances that will affirm exactly what she truly believes, not in her conscious mind, but we're run, that's for another lesson, completely by our subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Right. So that's her belief system. So that's the whole thing. It's like now you gave her a reason to understand the opposite.
Right. Exactly.
So that was great. That was great.
It's fun.
Thank you, Val. Okay, I want to get to Wanda now because she has to drive her daughter. So Wanda, would you like to share what you understood?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate this. I want to thank all of you, as I always love each and every one of you, and their energies are very, very high, and I can accept, receive. Well, as you all know, I shared as much as I could with the Ellen DeGeneres situation. That's the only thing that's really, really recent. Everything that I created in my mind, I did receive. And we know that I said that I was going to win, and then I didn't win, and then I end up winning, and then I was there, but I kept projecting that I was going to meet her. And I was following what Carolyn says, remember what's in your mind. The thing is, when I look back, the vibrations, I was so in awe that I was sitting at the Bell Center winning these tickets that are from Ellen that I couldn't feel anything, if that's even normal. I kept believing that I was going to sit and meet with her because it was a meet and greet. This is what so I feel After leaving the Bell Center, I did not get to meet her. Nobody really got to meet her. Montreal wasn't very impressed with the whole thing. It was saddened me because I think myself as well as all the people that were there, 11,000, believed that they were having that moment with Ellen to take a picture, to ask a question, because that's what we all understood. And it didn't happen. So I left the place feeling sad. I'm like, damn, I really believed I was going to meet her. So what happened? Where did I go wrong? Why did my brain go this way? Was it the anxiety? Was it did I expected this big thing just to prove people that I did it, and it now didn't work out? So the 5 what I remembered was both of you and the last call, because these classes really, really help. We cannot dictate what we want. Only what we have to trust. Like you just said in the notes, Pazit, that we can't figure out the how. It can happen. It's still, my life is not over. Today's not my last day, right? Do you guys get what I'm saying? But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, it's like I have to accept that I gotta trust the universe that I will meet her.
Well, you did. You did.
Or
you did
did
meet her. It was not in the way that you expected, but you did meet her. Right. You did meet her. So you have to remember, because what happens is, now what you see what gets mixed is like the emotions. You went by the circumstances because you had this idea in your head that you're going to be
exactly
with her, that you're going to, but the universe was already showing you. So it's like you jumped from one emotion, being really happy,
yes,
to, oh no, I'm disappointed.
Yes.
No. That's
okay.
it.
So now I know a lot of people, including myself, a lot of people are exactly this type of situation.
But that's the
consciousness.
You fell into other people's consciousness. When you're a creator, you don't fall into that consciousness. You understand that you have the power, that you met her, you stay happy that you met her. Who knows what could have happened? But as soon as you gave into that feeling, you fell in the trap. Because you could meet her anyway, like I explained the story with Grant Cardone,
Yes, that was an awesome story.
I went to meet him, but I ended up meeting him at Starbucks, and then I tried to manifest him, and I manifested him 4 times at Starbucks.
So are you telling me that my story is still not finished?
Of course not. It's not.
Okay. Okay. You're giving me some hope.
Wanda, it's finished if you believe, this was my last chance to meet Ellen. It's finished.
Oh, no, can I tell you, I have an email string, a text string telling all of my group of friends, I still believe I will be meeting her, but physically meeting. I just felt it. And my girlfriend,
maybe you'll be a guest on the show. We don't know, Wanda, but you got to
you're freaking me out because they all said the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly what you just said. They all said, Wanda, don't give up hope, because of all people, you always got what you wanted. Everything you always told us, you declared it, and it happened.
So there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I see going on here. One of them is
Thank you. Tell me
that one of your belief systems is Wanda always gets what Wanda wants. Okay.
Exactly.
So you don't need anybody else to give you permission to think that way. You're going outside of yourself.
Again, outside.
To other people to get their opinion of what happened. Okay, you don't need to do that. You already know, excuse me, because Wanda already has a belief system. If Wanda's belief system was, nothing ever works out for me, right? But you already know everything does. So
that's right.
I think what's important is that we all learn to trust our own intuition that we already know, because the moment we take it outside and start collecting the opinions of people on the outside of us, you could have had the same experience and people could have said to you, Wanda, just give up. And then Wanda would have said, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Because all the signs were there. That day I got my hair done. I'm sitting in the hairdresser, and her products are called Living Proof. It was just all the signs, but it made sense. I did receive the tickets from Ellen. It's written. So I can't say nothing bad. I did meet her, but not the way I expected. But I still believe that I will be, like, literally the way, how you sit with a friend with a coffee. I really see that. Like, I see it all the time.
Wow.
And my girlfriend told me, and even Ellen on her show, she said it. She goes, she wrote a letter to God, and she says, I'm going on the Johnny Carson show. She didn't know when. She believed it. 6 years later, she was on the Johnny Carson show. So she even said it about affirmations. So So
yeah, well,
yeah,
you just gotta believe. You know
That's
what? You
right.
gotta believe, and you cannot go.
Focus.
I'm gonna repeat this. You cannot go by the circumstances, and it will never happen the way you expected. Just like the TV show, you thought you expected them to say your name on TV, they didn't say it, and then
Right.
when we had a few messages
Yep.
between us, I told you,
Yep.
stay in the joy, keep
You did.
picturing it. Do not go
Yep.
by what you see. Do not go by what you see, Wanda. Hold that picture.
Yep.
Hold the picture, and then a week later you get the email. So the same thing.
Exactly.
Hold the picture of you
Thank
and
you.
Ellen, and it will always come unexpected. So I hope that this was.
Yes, it did.
happy
It
to share
helped
this
me.
with them because it's important for the group to understand. Do not go outside. You stay
thank
inside
you.
with your picture. Okay, hold on to it.
Thank you so much, guys. This really did help me. Now I got to
You
work
got
on it. I got to put the action to it now.
That's it.
Thank
That's it. Stay happy. Stay happy. Don't let your
Awesome.
circumstances mess your desire.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys. I appreciate
You
it.
got
Thank
it.
you.
You got
Okay,
it.
thank
Got
you,
it.
Wanda. Have an
Thank
amazing
you.
day. I'm just going to
Thank
mute
you.
Wanda.
Yeah. We'll see.
Thank you.
What about Wendy? Let's hear from Wendy.
I'm unmuting Wendy now. Wendy?
Wendy.
Hello.
Hello, Wendy. So let us know what you understood and
Wendy. I think there was 2 Wendy's up at one point, wasn't there? Okay,
Yes.
so-
Wanda
there's
and Wendy. Oh, was there? Oh,
Yeah, there's another Wendy. Okay, so Wendy from London, formerly from Montreal. So I have loads of great stories in this whole area. Anybody knows my story, you guys do, but I'm not going to go into all that. I think my own observation about letting the right path show itself to me, putting myself in the right context of mind, position, networking. You got to work at it, right? It doesn't just land in your lap. You've got to put yourself out there. And then actually understanding the opportunity, I'll call it the opportunity, you can call it intuition, or you can call it, it's when it presents itself, the trick is, in my experience for me, is to be able to understand what you see when you see it, right? It's to hear the codes, like to understand the codes.
To understand
Because-
when it's calling you, when it's shown up, you've got to be aware enough to take action on the opportunity. That's for sure.
yeah. The work is in your mind, Wendy. So the work is in your mind. And then when the opportunity shows up the way that you picture it, then it's a match.
Yeah, and so once you see it, in my experience, is usually when I corral the right people around me, call it resource, to manifest it. I never believe
They
that,
corral themselves to you.
Yeah.
or they corral themselves to me. But
Yeah.
I build teams. You know, I kind of build virtual teams or physical teams, or I bring advocates around who are going to help me on my path. And it's it's very much one of the reasons why I'm here today with you guys is I recognize that it's time for me to shed where I've been, and I'm transitioning back to being much more sort of a lighter place, because I'm still loading 16-year-olds in a house and dogs and everything else, because I had kids we've all been there. So my experience is, one is to kind of be open to the codes. 2 is to understand how to corral the resource around you. You don't do these things in isolation. It's very much about being connected, having the right people around, and letting those people in when it's time to let them in. And I think the last thing is I know myself very well, and Pazit and I were talking about this. I have a natural cycle for when I can manifest and when I can't. It is a cycle. You know, and being very, very conscious about what those rhythms are. I know when I'm low on resource and I need to build up before I can do something.
That's the law of rhythm, by the way. There's a law that governs exactly what you're talking about, the law of rhythm. So, when you dip, that's when your resources are low and your feelings are not aligned with the same vibration. So it makes sense what you say, that you have less opportunity to manifest because you're not matching the vibration of what you want when you're feeling down there, right?
Exactly, because if you manifest too early, you can overload and overwhelm. So there is about finding, I don't know all your laws, but yes, it's finding that rhythm and being able to understand those rhythms to know when you can manifest, corral, connect. And the other thing is, when you do bring people around you to help you, you need to really put in your mind, you need to give back. It's not about taking, right? It is very much an exchange. What you take from the world, you need to be able to put back along with the rhythm. So it's a kind of keeps the cycle going. So I know probably it's kind of a long answer your question, but that's, just the way you guys have sort of like structured the whole conversation this morning. It's just, and conversations of how it goes, Carolyn, because recently it's just kind of really kind of, those would be how I interpret that for myself, which is really being mindful of who's giving when I'm meeting, what do I give back, understanding my own rhythms, and being able to kind of really kind of manifest firstly what I'm looking for. Because unless you actually have a vision, none of that matters, right? You're just kind of in free fall.
You have to picture.
And you're always,
and it doesn't matter what cycle you're in, by the way. Continue to picture the vision. Period.
yeah, I was going to say that too, that Wendy, you're always manifesting, whether you think you are or not. You are always manifesting. These laws are on. They do not shut off.
Yeah.
There is no period where you're manifesting and you're not. You're always manifesting, whether it's good or bad. You're always creating because your mind doesn't stop.
There is a time to be there is a time to write your script, and there is a time to film it. There is a time. There are different stages in manifesting. There is a time to create, and there is a time to create in your team. And I, not personally, I always create with my team, just who I am. Right from the beginning, when I was a dancer back in Montreal, I've always created with the team. That's my creation tools. Everybody has their own. So for me, because I need a team around me, I have to recognize when I can bring that team on successfully. So
yeah, absolutely. The team is like the mastermind. It's exactly that. Totally. Of course. You want people that nurture your ideas. Of course. Maybe you were thinking of a team, and this is where we all kind of kicked in, Everything shows up. Everything shows up in its own way. Exactly. A team can come in different ways, but you got it.
Very much.
You got it.
I love it. Love it.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Wendy. Okay. Who would like to share? Do I have any comments?
There's Maria. Maria.
Good morning, you guys. Thank you so much. I think, as I told you guys before we started recording, it was so funny to hear all these negative thoughts like, you're a mom, go back to the, all of these things like, you're more comfortable as a mom. Like, why do you have to create this big thing and all these other stuff? And what I found in today's lesson was so good was understanding that it is, how can I explain it? As a mom, we try to control, try to be like, okay, this is what we have to do. You compartmentalize, you try to control the moving pieces of your house, your husband, your kids. So I realized I've been working that with my vision, right? That I'm trying to move the little pieces because that's how it has been. When Carolyn, Pazit repeating them, this is your workshop, this is your workshop, this is your workshop. And I'm like, dang, hold on a minute. And then of course, Carolyn threw in, after your story, you said it's already here, and here I am thinking, and you're thinking, what? It's already here? Like I already own this island. I already do all these retreats. I already do all these other things. And I felt like for everyone, this is an awareness that I had during this call, is that I felt that it was, of course it's easy for Pazit. Of course it's easy for Carolyn. Of course it's easy for Wanda. Of course it's easy for yesterday, my daughter. I was teaching her. It's so much easier for me to pass on the information and see these people bloom than it is for myself. And this is something that I realized when you said it's already here. Yesterday, my daughter, Cora, she had a semi-finals for basketball and they're playing a very tough team. And I just said, you focus on being the winner. It doesn't matter how you need to play or who you need to play. You just focus that your team wins. And yesterday the game was so close, but for the first time ever, I saw her not stressed. She went, she visualized, she did everything that you guys and we know. And she was the happiest I've ever seen her play. Never, ever had any doubt that she was going to win. And they won by 2 points. But it was so incredible to see how easy, of course, she's a child at 11 years old, she accepted, no, this is how it is. And so I realized when, Carolyn said it's already here, when Pazit is saying, it's going to come to you, the acorn, it comes to you. You don't have to move the little pieces.
Exactly.
For me, it's like, oh, maybe I'm putting this limit on, Mary, it can't happen for you unless you move the pieces. It can happen to everyone else, and you can teach it very well to your family and to your friends. My friends are manifesting lost things and things like that. but you can't do it, you know? And so thank you for sharing this, because for me, it kind of not only brought up the limiting belief, but it made me realize, wait, it's already here. Carolyn's house was already there. She just had to say, "Ooh, I want this." And then they found it, you know, like many of the most incredible stories that I've seen from Pazit as well. So thank you for sharing that. It just blows my mind that I have this limiting belief, and that it
Well,
was,
you can choose to have it or not
absolutely, absolutely. But that it's been brought up like, hey, kind of take a glance at it and say, nope, that's not for me. And now it's like, I get to do the same thing Pazit, Carolyn, and everybody else gets to do. And I'm going to have fun with it and see how it comes, period. So thank you.
Have fun with it. That's really important, because when
It's
you're
playful.
having fun, you're in a great vibration.
Right.
You
But
know?
it's mind blowing to think that we think at least I thought I was pretty good at doing all these things, working with Pazit and doing all these things, and realizing, wait, there's still some limiting little worms in there going, no, you know, or the bullies, as Pazit calls them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
they're always going to be there. They're always going to be there. They're not going to go away. Even at the stage I'm at and Carolyn's at, we still get them. But the only thing is because we're trained, we're like professional creators, you know, like professional athletes. Because we're trained, we know what to do. So we're able to like snap very quickly and stay in it. But it's only because of practice. It's only because of practice.
That's the only difference. Because you know what? I mean, it's
the repetition.
These are not man-made laws, right? These are universal laws or quantum laws or whatever expression you want to use. These laws are not man-made, so they can't be changed by man. So they are always working, whether you want to acknowledge them, or they're working whether we use them to our advantage or we don't. So we get to limit ourselves. I mean, that's usually the issue. Pazit and I say it all the time. You got to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Because it's all there for you. All you have to do is allow it. So
and act on your ideas. You got to act on your, so Maria, you got to act on your ideas. Like, you know, like that day when you were doing your whole Instagram, you were getting all these creative ideas. You got to act on the ideas. Yeah. So these are like the actions that you take, you know, to move you, but they're fine. You know, they're all in line. And what are you doing when you're working on your idea? You're feeding your dream.
Right.
That's where we want to keep you.
That's right.
Keep feeding your dream, you know? And that's it. And so it's always a battle between, you know, the old you and the new you know, the mom you and the mom that's becoming like a mom entrepreneur, you know?
Yeah.
I love
Gabriella has a comment. She says, Maria, you're being aware. Acknowledge that. She's right. You have now new awareness. So, you know, that's one of the steps in practice. So you understand what's going on, and then you learn to apply it.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you so much. So good.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you, Maria. So
and I was just gonna say, when you see other people do it, just say, if they can do it, so can I. That it gives you reassurance that the process works. I'm like, oh, if he can do it, if she can do it, if they're doing it, that's how I would see it. When I would have like, you know, when I was starting out, I'd be like, but how can they do it? And I'd just be like, well, okay, if they can do it, I mean, I can do it too. So what are they doing that I'm not doing? They're practicing it more often than I am. They're like an athlete. They're you know, they're in the courts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I gotta up my game. You
obsessive about practice and study. That's kind of where
it's
that's
fun.
part of my day, part of Pazit's day. That study is
I spend 6 hours studying every day. 6 hours.
Right. So, you know, you wonder, how do you do that? Well, you're up and you're in it. And during the day, you're in it. And in the afternoon, you're in it, because you're constantly exposing yourself to the information, to the study, so you don't go off road.
Yeah.
Right. And you just know that you're doing everything that you need to do. So, okay. So I want to open this up to, there's 3 ways.
It gets easier and easier. It gets easier and easier, easier and easier. Every time you go to practice, it gets easier and easier. So just trust the process, have fun. Just say, okay, I get another day to create. You wake up, I get another day to create. Okay, let's do this. Okay.
So Wendy Monteith, how are you this beautiful Sunday morning?
Good morning. I'm okay. Sorry, a little rough. My my little brother's 40th birthday last night. So, but I'm like, I'm getting up. I'm getting on the call.
You're here. You're here. That's all that matters.
I need to. I've had a crazy week. I finally officially registered Organize Your Life on
Awesome.
Monday morning.
Wow.
And then, so you guys know I've been a little scattered for the last couple of years. And, you know, all this realization is that, like, one of the things, like Maria says, I've always been somebody who's helped other people to manifest. And I'm like, well, why can't you do that? Why, you know, why not? Like, focus on that. And I've watched other people do that. And, you know, I've been really digesting, like, okay, what happened? And I realized a couple of years ago, I took the focus completely off me. And then, you know, it's coming full circle, and I'm finally like focusing more and more. And it does take practice. Like, I used to manifest things like crazy before. I never thought twice about it. So when I got introduced to The Secret a bunch of years ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I do this. I maybe wasn't doing it as grand as Pazit or anything, but I really didn't know what to do with it at that time. But anyway, so coming back to that, I'm finally focusing. And, you know, I was putting little bits out here and there. And because it's an organizing business, I was reaching out to just a few people that I thought, you know, would be a bit more receptive, that knew me, realtors, to say, hey, I can help you to get houses ready for staging, et cetera, and so forth. And I also have kind of, my big thing is I really want to help people who really need the help. I'm always kind of into the hoarders thing and stuff, and sort of how can I help people. But another thing is I had joined in December POC, which is the Professional Organizers in Canada, because I'm like, I need to be around like-minded people who can organize, can think, because even as an organizer, I need help sometimes to organize different areas of my life that maybe I'm not as strong at, you know, like digital organization, things like that. Mm-hmm. So I had reached out there. I had reached out to some of my realtors and everything. I've been going to chapter meetings, and one of the upcoming chapter meetings is with a guy from a company called Trauma Care Cleaning Services. And he's going to be speaking on March 18th at one of the chapter meetings about extreme cleaning, knowing when to walk away. And it's dealing with like these scenarios of going in and dealing with, sorry, just bear with me because it's like such a big full circle here. I'm just like, wow. When an organizer walks in and it's an extreme situation that is a little bit more than we could potentially handle, it's not that we can't, but it's just ominous. Okay. And so he's going to be speaking on March 18th. So I'm like, okay, I'm really excited to hear about this stuff and everything. And there's another organizer. I'm like, I'll work with you like anytime on these difficult jobs because I want to gain experience in helping these people. So pretty much, okay, I have that in my head, and I'm like excited for this meeting still to come March 18th. And so one of the realtors that I spoke to like months ago, and she's got me in the back of her mind and everything. Okay, so I register the business name on Tuesday, and I'm thinking, okay, I got time. I'm going to start getting my insurance together and figure it out. It's a sole proprietorship. Tuesday, she calls me and says, did you see I tagged you in a Facebook post? And I'm like, no, it's not coming up that I was tagged in anything. She's like, oh, it's a private group. Okay, because this realtor that is a friend of mine, she's great, blah, blah, blah. But she's looking for somebody that knows how to, like, that maybe can or has connections to, you know, purge a house. Unfortunately, the gentleman passed away. But I find this out later. But she's like, okay, well, just contact her and tell her I saw this post and that you might be able to help. So I'm like, okay. And my tendency is sometimes to sit on it. So this is where I know the difference between just the thought manifesting and then knowing that there was action. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to leave a message for this. Like, I'll call this realtor. And so I get recording, of course. So I leave a message. I'm like, okay, busy lady. Didn't hear from her Tuesday night or anything. And I'm like, okay, like, no problem, busy lady, whatever. I'm going to touch base with her again today. So on Wednesday. But I hadn't, because I got doing a couple other things. Well, then I get a call from her Wednesday morning saying, oh, okay. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see your message till late and yada, yada. She goes, this is the scenario. Can you do it? Well, my other natural instinct was, this did sound huge. She's like, you know, he's left. It's a hoarder situation, blah, blah, blah. You know, have you dealt with this? And I said, well, you know, I do have experience dealing with this kind of thing. I didn't tell her that it was, you know, not as grand of a scale, but I was very interested in seeing this, or at least going and checking it out. So because I had these other services and I knew the trauma care, like they deal with this extreme cleanup, like they clean up crime scenes, everything, like it's all, and I'm like, okay, well, there's, you know, this, that, and the other thing.
What happened?
Okay. So anyway, so she's like, okay, well, I'll give the message to the lady. Great. So I immediately get on the horn. I contacted the gentleman from Trauma Care Center, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting. She said, oh, and you probably won't hear from the people because till Friday or Monday, because the funeral's on Thursday. So for the gentleman of this house. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I'm like immediately on the horn to this guy, and I'm like, okay, so what do you normally do with this? Because I'm like new, but I definitely want to come check it out. Should I, you know, and I'm like, you know, should I just pass it on to you, or do we just coordinate and get there together? He's like, yeah, don't take yourself out of the loop yet. Let's go see what's going on. Right. And I'm like, okay. So and then I'm talking to him, and he's like, so I'm like, oh, we probably won't hear anything back for a couple of days, but okay, I'll be on it. You're available. So I hang up from him. I thank the realtor for the connection, and, you know, have your client to give me a call. I'm like, I literally just finished messaging her, and the client calls me, and I'm like, I'm not ready yet. Like, I'm like,
no, you're ready. Okay. So you got it?
I got time to prepare, like, you know, and sort of figure some things out, get my act together, right?
Did you
end up getting it?
Did you get it?
Well, at this point, so then she's like, can you come tomorrow after the funeral? Because the daughters need to go home to Nova Scotia. Yes, I called.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
We go to this house. It is overwhelming, and it is extreme cleaning, knowing when to walk away. Now, I'm not walking away entirely. Okay. The gentleman, Michael, he's great. Like, we came in, we looked, and I said, look, this is really out of my scope financially, everything. But he knows how to deal with, like, the estate stuff. You know, he can deal with the bigger picture. And so now we are working on a quote for it. I'm going to.
Okay, so you got your first client. You got your, sorry, just because I have to.
I know, sorry. I know, it's like a pain. So, yes, we'll be moving forward.
Bottom line is you attracted it. The minute that you put you got your business online, you had clients waiting for you. You had clients waiting.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not only that, one quick thing is, I keep saying I want to talk about the organizing. I kind of want to be a bit more like presenter. So I said to him, I said, oh my gosh, this is the topic for you on March 18th. And so I had to make the decision to kind of step out a little bit and take more of a secondary role, because it's a little too big for my scope immediately, but it will come. Like, I will get there. So I said,
you are there,
oh my gosh, you need to write a topic.
You're already there.
So now I'm going to be part of the topic on the March 18th.
Awesome.
Sorry. Anyways, that was like too big of a picture.
No, it was good. It was good. It took a lot. It took a long road to get there, because I know, but I feel you, because I feel your excitement in telling us the story and like all the details, how everything kind of led and tied in together. But we are on a bit of a time.
I know.
But I want you to know that we love your story, and your story is fantastic for everybody who was listening. That basically the moment that you took the decision, so you got the idea, you got everything in order, you decided to go with the with your organizing business, you finally registered it, and the clients came and everything worked out like the acorn. You attracted this person and that person and that person, and everything kind of worked together. You got your first clients. We are so happy for you. And then March 18, you're going and you got the topic. So thank you for sharing. So that's how it works. That's how it works. I love it. Keep creating.
So quickly, we have another Wendy on the line. Wendy, would you like to share? Wendy Tavares?
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll also say that we're going to limit the conversation to two minutes or so for everybody, so everybody gets a chance to talk.
We want everyone to
but please come with your stories in a condensed version,
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give another minute. Wendy Tavares, are you hopping on the line to tell us what you learned today? Hello? Okay. I had a raised hand, lowered hand. You have your volume on? I have your volume on. No? Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll move on. Oh, now are you going to come to the room, Wendy?
How do I do that?
Okay, we hear you. You just have to turn your camera on. Actually, your camera is on, but we can't see you. Okay, do you want to just speak without the camera on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, this is my first time and I just don't know how to use the
You got it, you used it.
So.
All good.
Okay.
Now you do.
I'm kind of new to this group. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm new to this group, so I just this is my first time listening on a Sunday, and I really enjoy the content. I sort of I got the message. I understand all of, like, I've been trying to apply living as the person that I want to be, and I understood that now. Like, you have to just do it consistently and just be what you aspire to be, basically.
Yeah.
But I think my challenge is it's just that sometimes getting overwhelmed by what you see sometimes, and you get bogged down with those details. So I need to sort of limit my, like, see it but not get involved in it, like deal with it, but like really aspire for what I want.
Observe, right? Just observe. You don't need to deal with it, just observe.
Correct. Yes, that's right. So, and that's sort of where I am right now. Like, I have a business. I wanted to grow and be more and more successful. It's been pretty good for the last 10 years, but I just wanted to keep growing. But one thing I've done is I seem to attract people who limit me, who have ideas of where things should be, like, and I think I need to overcome that belief that I don't need others limiting me. Like, I should be able to expand to where I want to grow to,
If so in your example, if you feel you're attracting people who limit you, then you want to take a look at how you're thinking about how you're limiting
Correct.
yourself.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. It's all my beliefs and what I have allowed, into my life that I need to change. Absolutely. So this is just the first step for me. So it's
the outside is only the outside picture is a picture of what you have inside of you. So that's why we say, that's why we say just observe it, because if you're observing that you're meeting people like that, you're saying, ooh, what is it in me that's limited?
Yes.
Because if I'm attracting that, that's who I am. So let's look at that a little bit closer. Let's change that, That's it.
Right.
Nothing serious.
Yeah, and I know something else that I learned was that I didn't have a very clear, like, I have some ideas of what I want my business to look like, but I didn't have a clear vision. So I need to put that down on paper. Yeah. Just focus on that, like, daily, So I really got a lot out of this session today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And when you're putting that picture together, Wendy, about how you want your business to be, imagine it already here. because it is.
Correct.
So when you're thinking
Yes.
about it, feel how good it feels when your business is exactly what you picture it to be, and the people that you're associating with, and the places that you're going to go, and where you are, and actually feel what it feels like to have achieved the goal already.
And build it in pictures. Build it in
Absolutely.
pictures. I have all my clients
Yes,
build all their
yes.
businesses in pictures, so they have a visual to look at.
Okay, all right. You just make like a little, like a little cutouts from magazines and stuff, and make a little book out of it, or a visual.
Not necessarily a book, but you could take like an 8.5 by 11 sheet, or you do it on your laptop. Basically, you just go online and you pick pictures that reflect exactly how you want your
What you
business to
want.
grow.
Okay.
Yeah, like how's your office,
Okay.
the kind of people that are working. You just have fun. You create it on a sheet, so it's very clear. Now you have a vision to go to.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
the power
Wonderful.
of the pictures
I
bring
love
the
these
emotion.
ideas. Great.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can use
Perfect. Thank you
tangible.
so much. I appreciate it.
Got it.
guys.
You're so
And I love
welcome.
the idea. If somebody said they had some. Yes. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Wendy. So we're going to wrap up today, but we want to share with you first. So we've got this every single Sunday, and we love sharing it with you online. But we're going to change it up a little bit on Sunday, the 24th of March, because Pazit is going to be in Montreal. So our Sunday morning mastermind on Sunday, March 24th is actually what we're calling the Royal Mastermind. What we've organized is, and I'm going to drop the link right here because it's on Eventbrite Live now. It is called the Royal Mastermind. It starts at 11 a.m. and we are going to be at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. Beautiful, luxurious Queen Elizabeth Royal Hotel. And what we've organized is the brunch there on Sundays is magnificent. It's the whole restaurant. It's a brunch spread like I've never seen anywhere before. And that is on Sunday morning on the 24th of March at 11 a.m. And we have the whole event here. We've got the mastermind from 11 to 1 with the brunch. And then there's a mastermind afterwards from 1 to 3. So you'll see in the link that I've put in there, you have a choice. You can be part of the brunch experience with us and continue on for the mastermind that we're going to hold live that day, or you can just join us for the mastermind after the brunch. So there's two options. You'll see both of them really clearly on there. The brunch is a la carte. Each participant handles their own. They take care of it at the restaurant. We're taking 12 participants for the actual brunch. We have a reservation. They can't wait for us all to get there. So take a look at the link. We would love to have you royally participate in a live mastermind on Sunday, the 24th of March at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel.
Yeah, so there's people asking in the chat, what happens if we don't live there? This chat is live, so I don't know if we're going to record it or not. We haven't really decided, but it's a live one. So I guess we'll keep you posted. But of course, you can always fly in. Why not? It'll be super fun. For the brunch section, we're only taking 12 people, so it's going to be a 12 people mastermind for the brunch part where we're eating. But then afterwards, it's it's unlimited. So that's only for March 24th, and we're just kind of, decided to do one in person. So whoever wants to sit at the table will be so much fun, or after, in the lounge as well. So we can all be like queens sitting there. And that's it. I want to thank everybody that showed up for the mastermind today. I hope that, again, you remember to make your vision bigger than what you see, not to go by your circumstances, and to always remember that you are the creators of your life. And every day is a chance for you to practice this gift that we have, and to know that you have this power. You have this power to create the reality that you want. So use it and have fun with it and play with it, and come back next week and let us know what you've created for yourself.
Have a really great creation week. Think about all the things that you want, identify what those are, get in the feeling of what it feels like for them to already be here, and bring all your magic back next week and let us know. we love these calls, and we love hearing about everything that you guys are creating as well. So it's fun to watch. We have fun with it.
Absolutely. So have a great week, guys, and have fun creating.
Have fun. Talk to you.
You are the creators. Yeah, you are the creators of your reality, and remember that your mind is your workshop.
I have a question.
Sure.
So you're giving us this task to do. Do you want us to come back with a specific response? So to kind of just put a deliverable on it, like a 3-minute story with a visual of what we've been able to manifest, to give it some structure.
Come back and let us know.
Just so we,
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear. It was for me. It was broken.
Okay.
No, I'm just wondering if you want to put some structure around it. So if we come back with what was it we were looking, what it was, how we felt we sort of brought it on successfully, and perhaps a visual or a token or an icon that actually to make it more visual sort of discourse. Just a thought.
You can. I mean, really,
stories can be small or big. Okay.
Yeah, just share however your week went and what exactly transpired for your week. We have a little bit of time to share. Always happy to hear exactly what you created with your week. So I'm expecting that you will, because you've decided that you will. So it's
Wendy, decide on one thing. Decide one thing that you want to create this week. Just one thing, and focus only on that one thing, and use everything that we said, the picturing, put the idea in your mind, whatever idea comes to you. Use one thing that you want to create this week, put it in your mind, watch your thoughts, your soil, and see what happens, and come back next week and let us know what it is. Let us know what it is. It could also just be like, I want to attract a cup of coffee. Yesterday I had fun. I was telling Carolyn, I went to get my nails done, and I wanted to see if I can transfer my thought to the woman who was working on my hands. So as she's working on my hands, I was saying that she would say, "Oh, I love the colors that you chose, and I love your nails. You have beautiful nails." And I said it over and over again. And 10 minutes later, she said, "Oh, exactly the way I said it in my head." She said, "Oh, I love the color of your nails, and you have such beautiful nails." And I started laughing, and I was like, thank you, because now you understand the consciousness, how our thoughts are transferable. So you can see how, and that worked like within 10 minutes. And I told Carolyn, I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun. So you can even do something small like that. And I was really focused. I repeated that same phrase over and over. I was having fun. I was like, anyways, getting my nails done. I couldn't touch my phone, so instead of being bored and sitting and like doing nothing or watching the screen of the TV, I said, let me play. So play, guys, play, have fun.
Have fun with that.
It'll
put you in a great energy.
Yeah, you get the guy in front of you to say, hey, I'll buy you coffee. Hey, miss, hey, you're beautiful. I'll buy you coffee this morning. I do things like that all the time. It's just so much fun, and I actually get it.
Yeah. So remember, whatever you're giving out, you get back.
Yeah. So just have fun. And I was going to say, Wendy, just try something as small as that, a little something like that, or you're going to get a little something unexpected in the mail, something fun, a surprise in the mail, who knows?
No, I have a specific thing I need to do this week, and I just decided to turn that into my project. I'm trying to find the right estate agent to sell my house, which has been a bit of I just need the right person to walk through the door. I'll know when I find it. So that's
focus on that.
Focus on the right real estate agent in your house. But even more than that, focus. I would say I just had my one of my clients. I helped him sell his house at the price that he wanted, and what we did was we focused not so much on the real estate agent, but we focused on the house being sold at the price that he wanted. And then and you know who showed up? The right
real estate agent.
the right client.
The right client.
The right client, not the real estate agent. The right client.
Yeah.
He had an agent on the house, but he ended up selling the house because he attracted the client.
Yeah.
It's just, we think logically.
It's just such I've got to get it's like the right, need the right personality, the right vibe surrounding it all, so. I know
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to open your mind. He was also looking for a real estate agent, but he attracted the right client. Now he does have a real estate agent. The real estate agent did the whole deal, but he attracted the client that came to his house.
So
when the real
imagine
estate
the buyer
agent there.
coming into your house and going through
Yeah.
that magnificent home and loving it so much that they want to buy it.
Yeah, but the real estate agent did the deal. You know what I mean? Because it was like you say, like all those things are complicated, but he was looking for a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Yeah. So,
Have fun. Have
it's
fun.
a hard one. It's a hard one, but
know.
I'm up for it. I'm gonna see how it sort of transposes this week, and I'll give you my story.
It's a hard one if you tell yourself it's a hard one. Imagine.
Oh no, it's because of Brexit. Because we're in the middle of Brexit, that's why.
Got it.
But I got it. So I got my homework. I'll let you know how it turns out.
Yeah. It's just because most people would think the same thing. Oh, we need the real estate agent. That's the first logical thing. And I told them, no, you need the right client. Let the real estate agent close the deal.
Oh, I have the real estate agent, but they're just being lazy. So
so you want to have the right client because you don't need the right real estate agent. Any real estate can close the deal properly, making sure that everything is done properly. That's fantastic. But if you can attract the client, then the deal is done.
Deal is done.
Yeah. All right.
You got it. Have fun. Let us know what happens next week.
Okay, Valerie, I think Valerie wants to say something.
No, I'm okay. No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Okay, guys, so off we go, and thank you so much for investing part of your Sunday morning with us. Love, love, love it, and can't wait to hear the stories. Next week, take a look at the link for our live Royal Mastermind on the 24th of March, and we'll be seeing you.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you. So see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.